1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster
Movie.
fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome once again to 31 Days of Horror on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. This is day number 4. My regular guest, my regular host, co-host, Honeybee is with me today.
Heyo! What's up, motherfuckers?
We are continuing our marathon within a marathon of Resident Evil movies with 2007's Resident Evil Extinction, this time directed by Russell Mulcahy, but still written by Paul W.S. Anderson. He and Milla are dating at this point, and are engaged or not engaged. Apparently their engagement was on and off for a while before they finally got re-engaged and then married in 2009. But it's only 2007.
Oh.
The movie was $45 million to make and made $147.7 million. So still doing well.
Ow. Doing very well.
This is the third movie in the series, loosely based on the Capcom survival horror video game series of the same name.
Yeah.
And here's a summary from... Oh, wait. We've got Milla Jovovich, of course, as Alice and her clones. Ali Larter as Claire Redfield. Okay. Ali Larter as Claire Redfield, who is a video game character that is in Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil Code Veronica, and Resident Evil The Dark Side Chronicles. But she's not doing any of the stuff she does in the video game in this movie. Oded Fair is back as Carlos Oliveira. Ian Glenn as Dr. Is it Ian or Leon? Ian, I guess it's an I. Ian Glenn as Dr. Alexander Isaacs, the head asshole from the previous movie. Ashante as Nurse Betty. Mike Epps is back as Lloyd Jefferson L.J. Wade. Spencer Locke as Kmart. Jason O'Mara as Albert Wesker. He is terrible. I don't care for his performance at all.
Who's?
Wesker. The head dude at Umbrella or mostly head dude with the sunglasses. He's very,
Why?
I mean, he's trying to do a thing. I don't know if he's trying to emulate the video game performance, but he's just very stiff and artificial, and I don't buy him at all. There's a current or recent Resident Evil TV series on Netflix, and Albert Wesker's a character in that, and they go in a completely different direction.
Huh.
But one that I enjoyed more. This one might be more accurate to the video game, but I don't enjoy it. Christopher Egan as Mikey. Madeline Carroll as the White Queen, the sister computer of the original Red Queen. Matthew Marsden as Alex Slater, Wesker's second in command. After Dr. Isaacs. Lyndon Ashby as Chase. That's the cowboy ex-cop sniper dude. And Joe Hersley as Otto. That's he's the school bus driver. Isn't Otto the school bus driver on The Simpsons?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I believe he's named after the Simpsons character.
That's funny.
So, in the beginning here, we get sort of a replay of the first movie.
Yeah, we wake up in the first movie.
Alice wakes up on the floor of the shower in the mansion, puts on the same outfit, wanders through the halls, and then...
If you don't think this red dress is perfect and totally acceptable, you can fight me in the street.
It's certainly unique. And then she goes through some like traps and shit that are similar but not exactly identical to stuff in the first film. There's the laser beam hallway thing, but she jumps up through a vent in the ceiling to escape the inescapable grid pattern laser. And during the escape, she makes use of her new telekinetic powers, killing a security guard. I'm looking at the Wikipedia summary, by the way. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you.
However, she is eventually killed by a bounding mine hidden in the floor. There's a little pop-up mine that comes up out of the floor and shoots her. Her body is dumped into a pit filled with dozens of other Alice clones, all wearing the same red dress and black booty shorts, representing the failed results of the Umbrella Corporation's ongoing Project Alice. As much as we love and admire this dress, is it really necessary to put each of the clones in it before they run this gauntlet?
Yes, absolutely.
Following Umbrella's attempts to cover up the contamination of Raccoon City, the T-virus spreads around the world. I believe Alice tells us this information in another narrative voiceover thing.
Yeah. Yep. But this one she's just narrating.
Yeah. We forgot to mention that. Well, never mind. That was the previous movie. At the end of the last movie, she recorded some stuff that turned out to be the opening narration. But that's not what's happening here. She's just straight up narrating. Anyway, it devastates not only the human population, but the entire global environment in the next 5 years. So it kind of causes a global drought. And they're showing us a picture from outer space of just the whole globe looking dried out like a desert.
Sand.
The real Alice wanders the wasteland that was once the southern U.S. And after fighting off a family of marauders, these assholes. Well, first I want to say, it's the post-apocalypse because it's a desert. There's never a jungle or swamp post-apocalyptic landscape. It always seems to be dried out sandy desert. She's on a motorcycle and she's got a little radio thing and she hears a distress call. So she goes to answer it and she gets ambushed by a bunch of fucking hillbillies.
Yeah, the old my baby trick. Yeah, she gets ambushed by the fucking the bad guys from the Goonies.
Yeah. Woman with a fake baby is like, "Oh, help me," and then pulls a gun on her, and they try to rob her. And
brought the dogs back, which I forgot to say in the last freaking film too about the dogs in the school, the canine. They've had dogs in every movie, baby.
Zombie dogs. Well, these movies are not always that accurate to the video games, but those zombie dogs are right out of the video games. And zombie birds that we're going to see in this movie.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, they try and they tie her up and they abuse her and they act like they're going to feed her to some dogs. But of course she turns the tables on them and they all get eaten by the dogs.
Well, this guy is literally about to pull his tiny wiener out and she kills him.
Yes, it does seem like they're going to abuse her in more than one way, but she cuts that off. And after dealing with those assholes, then she discovers some information in a gas station, or maybe that same gas station. She finds a notebook referring to an uninfected area in Alaska. Yeah. Alice realizes that she, like her clones, has developed telekinesis. She realizes this because she's camping out and dreaming, and I don't remember what she's dreaming of exactly, but she starts doing a Skywalker and just lifting all the stuff around her while she's sleeping, the rocks and her motorcycle. And then when she wakes up, she drops the motorcycle and completely wrecks it. So then she's got to hot-foot it across the desert. Simultaneously, a convoy of survivors led by Claire Redfield and Raccoon City survivors Carlos Oliveira and L.J. Wade travel across the country. So L.J., I really enjoyed him and his development. I don't enjoy how things turn out for him, but he's a guy. He's a guy who's been arrested, and he's obviously some kind of criminal in the first movie, and now he's a survivor, and he's part of this effort to, maintain the human race, and is being as close to a productive member of society as still exists in this post-apocalyptic landscape. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, totally.
So they're traveling around in search of supplies in Safe Harbor While searching a motel, LJ is bitten by a zombie.
Damn it,
Fearing
LJ.
the harsh fate that
LJ
awaits
has
him.
also fallen in love in this movie.
Yes, it looks like he is taking up with or attempting to take up with the nurse of the group, Nurse Betty, as we mentioned, played by Ashante.
Yeah.
But he chooses not to say anything about it. I'm wondering if there's something, it might just be that people are assholes. People are selfish, short-sighted assholes. But it could also be that there's something about the virus that tries to keep you from telling people. Maybe it affects your brain. No, you're not buying that excuse?
No.
Okay.
Well,
that's true. Not everybody who's bitten tries to hide it. So it takes a while, to turn him.
Yeah, it does. It takes a while, but I don't. Literally, remember in the last film, he was like, I've been hanging out with you. You should have told me you got bitten. And then he just I'm like, what an asshole. Why isn't he telling people, what is he gonna, they've been, he survived this long. They're in this caravan, all this shit. He survived this long. Literally, his girlfriend, spoiler, sacrifices herself. She's obviously, a better person. But I'm just like, what are you doing, dude? Why would you fuck over these people that you've obviously been with for a while now?
Yeah.
I don't know. It really pissed me off. LJ.
It's just fear. It's fear and denial.
Yeah.
I think maybe he's like, maybe it's not that bad. And then he looks at it like, oh, that's bad. But I don't know. Maybe just some part of him thinks it'll be okay. Because, hey, I haven't turned yet. The next morning, the convoy is attacked by a murderous flock of infected crows. With the team nearly overwhelmed, Alice appears and defeats the remaining crows with her newfound telekinesis. She sets them all on fire.
Fire!
And then passes out. Awaking shortly thereafter, Alice is introduced to Claire and tells her about the notebook, convincing her to take the convoy to Alaska. Well, Claire puts it up for a vote. Because they're like, we're not going to make it.
What else has Claire
That's
been? Why do I know that?
Ali Larder. I think her first or one of her first acting gigs was Heroes.
I never saw that.
You never saw Heroes? Let's see what else she has been in. She was a model, and then she became an actress.
Oh, you know what? Was it Final Destination?
Don't think so. Yes. Yeah. No, you're right. She's in Final Destination 2. She's in Legally Blonde. She's in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. House on Haunted Hill, Varsity Blues.
Okay, cool. I knew I recognized her, man.
Crazy, Obsessed, Lovesick, You're Not You, The Diabolical, Resident Evil Final Chapter, Resident Evil Extinction, Afterlife. Most recent thing is something called The Hater from this year, a comedy,
nice
political satire, and she's got various movie credits. But she was in Heroes in 2006, so just before this, from 2006 to 2010. So this was right in the middle of her. Somebody was like, get me that girl from Heroes. So anyway, she puts it up to a vote and they all decide, yeah, let's go to Alaska.
Yeah.
Isaac's attempts to domesticate the infected lead to the creation of a new zombie breed. Wesker's security officer, Captain Alexander Slater, reports on Isaac's disregard for umbrella regulations. Wesker tasks Slater with watching Isaacs, telling him to kill the scientist if he disobeys orders again. He's trying to sort of not exactly cure them, but mitigate their murderous tendencies with the version of the serum he's working on. And he's got a zombie and has one of those baby shape cubes.
Yeah.
The cube with different shaped holes in it. Yeah, you got to match the shapes to the holes.
The heart, yeah.
Yeah, and then the zombie gets one of them right, and they're all like, oh my god, and then he can't get the second one right. And just then gets frustrated, flips out, and then Isaacs is just like, oh, steps out the door and closes it behind him, letting the zombie kill two of the other scientists. He could have saved one of those guys. Not both of them, but he could have saved one of them and didn't. He just shut the door in his face. Because that's the kind of asshole he is. Tracing an energy pattern sent out by Alice's telekinesis, Umbrella triangulates her location. She's been off the grid, and once she has her little burst of telekinesis, they are able to find her. And I think they reuse a satellite shot from the previous movie. It zooms out on the Earth and then past the satellite, and we see the satellite sort of adjust its position. I think it's the same shot, and they just recolored the Earth.
I didn't know.
To make it look brown. And I think they use it again, either in this movie or in another one. So they triangulate her position, desperate to reclaim Alice for the sake of achieving his goals. Dr. Isaac sends his new zombies to ambush the convoy against the Wesker's specific orders. Well, it's not exactly.
He
they
also
just
tries
this
to,
is
like,
weird.
He says like shut her down, like as if they could just like turn her off.
Yeah,
like,
during the big fight. But they sort of ambush. Well, what they do, the convoy decides, well, we've scavenged all we can here. We got to go to Vegas. And they go to Vegas and are surprised that there doesn't seem to be any zombies there or anything. The desert is almost completely reclaimed the city. So there's this weird apocalyptic thing where, because there's replicas of the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower in Vegas, we see these half sand covered replicas of them,
which
sort
is
of
really
representing
cool.
the entire country, the entire world.
Exactly. That's why it was really cool. It's cool how they did that. And
but they find like a cargo container just sort of sitting there and decide to open it like a bunch of dumbasses.
Zombies in the same uniform.
It's full of zombies. Well, I think they start thumping inside of it before they open it, because she's like, "Get back!" But yeah, it's full. So they just assumed that they were going to go through Vegas, and in all of Vegas put this container, unless maybe they put several throughout the city, and they stumbled on one of them. Or they put one and they just happened to stumble on it. So a big ass fight breaks out. A bunch of people get killed. They shut down Alice remotely, as you said. She just sort of freezes in place. After killing a bunch of zombies, she kind of freezes in place, but manages to break out of it. She just mentally overpowers the conditioning.
She's fighting the condition. And
she finds, and is this when LJ? This is when Nurse Betty, or no, she dies.
Nurse Betty dies
a little bit earlier during the crow attack.
Yeah,
the crows get her in the school bus. This is where LJ turns into a zombie. Turns into a zombie, or is it right after this? Anyway, at some point, LJ turns on the sniper cowboy guy, I think. She finds Isaac's at the scene, and he is bitten as he flees via helicopter. Alice and Kmart. Oh, we got to mention Kmart. There's a young teenage girl who goes by the name Kmart, because that's where they found her. And she either doesn't remember or just doesn't care about her previous name. It doesn't have any meaning anymore, I think she says.
Yeah, she says that it's because when they found her, her whole life, everyone she knew was dead. So why she just left it behind with her whole life. She needed. Kmart kind of reminds me of my very first girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, they look very similar. Like they have similar. Like I was a teenager, obviously. And she just reminded me of her. I was like, oh my gosh, shout out Beth if you're listening to this podcast.
I also want to remember that, I also wanted to note that Angela Ashford from the previous movie is gone. LJ and Oliveira have made it to this movie, but Angela has not. And they don't mention anything about what happened to her. So, I mean, probably a zombie got her, and maybe in this situation, you just don't talk about the people who aren't there anymore. We're not going to go through the whole list. If you don't see him standing here, just assume that the zombies got him. Yep. I just thought I found it a little frustrating that they went through all that effort, and then the whole movie most of the movie was about trying to rescue her, and then it's gone. I mean, some people feel that way about Aliens 3. I don't. And it doesn't ruin the movie for me or anything. I was just like, why not?
Why not?
I've never seen any explanation of why she doesn't carry over. Because it seems like Kmart's sort of a replacement for her.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alice and Kmart use Isaac's computer to track the helicopter flight path leading them to Umbrella's underground facility. Approaching the scene, Alice meets a holograph of the Red Queen's sister AI, the White Queen, and the White Queen's holographic projector is much better than the Red Queen's.
Much, much, much better.
Because the Red Queen was very, well, they did an effect to make the Red Queen obviously a computer projection. She's like all red, and sort of there's a little fuzziness going on with her. The White Queen just looks like a little girl just straight up standing there. And I don't know if they were trying to tell us that the computer got better, or they just found that effect annoying, or they thought it just wouldn't work with white like it would with red. But for whatever reason, she's just a much more realistic looking holographic projection. Well, at the same time being less realistic because actual holographic projections just don't look that good. You can tell. Anyway, she informs Alice that her blood, Alice's blood, can cure the T-virus. Defends the Red Queen's prior actions, as we did, the Red Queen was right, and reveals what happened to Dr. Isaacs. On her way to the lab's lower levels, Alice encounters one of her clones. What did happen to Isaacs? Did we just say? No, we didn't say. They shoot him?
No. A zombie gets him.
A zombie gets him. Because I think that one guy comes in to chew him out at one point, and he certainly acts like he's going to shoot him. Yeah, he's. Oh no, I know. He's been injecting himself with the antivirus because he got bit, and he gets back and is injecting himself with the antivirus, but he's just burning through all their supplies. And the other guy does shoot him, but he doesn't die. So I can't remember if he keeps shooting him. I think he ends up killing that other guy. I just watched this the other day. On their way to the lab's lower levels, Alice encounters one of her clones, which awakens but appears to die from...
In her
here
arms.
it is. I'm about to read what happened to him, Durf. She appears to die from shock, the clone, soon after. Alice discovers Isaacs/Tyrant, which I guess is the name of his mutated form. It's probably what he's called in the video game. Defeating him after leading him to the replica of the Hive's laser corridor featured in the film's opening. So yeah, she kills him with the lasers. Just as Alice is about to meet the same fate, the system is deactivated by the clone who is still alive. Later in Tokyo, and they open up a door and see just row after row of spherical pods filled with Alice clones.
All of the Alice clones. Well, at one point, too, in the movie, I think they call one of the clowns. The clone's number 87. So... Yeah.
Later in Tokyo, Wesker informs his fellow Umbrella executives that the North American facility has been lost. Alice appears during the meeting. They're all actually meeting holographically. So there's a table. One of the people's actually at the table, and the others are just being projected there holographically. So obviously Alice found the thing to do that in the New York facility. She appears during the meeting declaring that she and her friends, the other clones, are coming for him. So there you go. That is the story of Extinction. Resident Evil Extinction. Honeybee, thoughts and feelings?
I really loved that we had like the desert in this. Like it was all deserty. I loved how like all the landscape was, how we were like in the caravan. We were really going from place to place in this movie. I really loved it. I like this one. I don't like any of them as much as I like the first one, but just by barely, you know? Like, they're all still really good. I'm gonna say, yeah, four pumpkins for me.
I'm gonna give it 5 again. Before we go, though, I want to talk about her costume. I love how she's got a different costume each time. This one is some Mad Max post-apocalyptic nonsense that I just love. She is wearing a white tank top with some kind of brown button shirt that's hardly buttoned over top of that. A tan overcoat, trench coat over top of that. A light cream, dirty cream neckerchief, a brownish, grayish scarf, goggles, shorts, stockings with garters, brown stockings that match and may be attached to. It's hard to. Some things I'm seeing look like they're part of the same thing. They're the same color as the brown overshirt, but they're poking out from under. The tops of them go up under her shorts, and they're attached to some sort of garter situation. And then various holsters with straps over top of that, and then brown boots. And it is awesome.
Yeah.
But I just find the choice of the stockings, the gartered stockings. I mean, it does very much look like just random shit that I found in the post-apocalyptic landscape.
Totally.
And I love it. But at least it is symmetrical this time. So there you go. We'll be moving into a punk leather fetish phase in the next few movies.
Yeah.
But this is a very sort of steampunky outfit in this one, especially with the goggles. And she actually wears the goggles. They don't just perch on her head or hang around her neck. She actually uses them at some point because she's walking out in the sand and stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I appreciate that.
5 pumpkins.
So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and give it 5 pumpkins.
Hell yeah.
I guess that will wrap it up for today. Join us again tomorrow, where we will continue our Resident Evil mini marathon within our larger 31 Days of Horror marathon.
Whee!
Until then, I have been Precious D.
And I have been Honeybee.
Remember to keep calm and seek shelter in basements.
And please don't misuse science.
We will not see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Yay, we did it. We made it.
You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato folk rock punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MMFTG.
Fun time go!